All 7 of your sensors have been configured such that they are active devices, which means that they require a power supply. The power supply is a standard 5-volt power supply that's plugged into a wall outlet. And on the other end, you see a connector that has 3 colors: black, red, and orange. This corresponds to the color code that we have set up for all of our sensors. Black is electrical ground, red is a plus 5 volts, and orange is a plus 3.3 volts. The connections proceed as follows. Let's assume that we are going to hook up a sensor that requires 5-volt power supply. Basically what we do is we plug the outlet into the wall, then we get our color codes together. We take the black Y wire here and connect it to the black ground on the connector. Then what we do, since the sensor requires and the voltage, the meter that we monitor the sensor with requires a ground, we'll connect the banana-ended wire to one of the Y junctions, so you can see that here. This will be the ground that goes to the voltage supply. And then the other end of the Y, the male part, would connect to the female of the sensor. In this manner, we have an electrical ground that's complete, that runs from the power supply, which is really from the wall outlet or earth ground, through the black wire, the Y wire, to the sensor and to the voltage meter that monitors the output. The consistent color coding also used beyond the first 3 that I have mentioned would be blue, which is the output of the sensor. And in the case of more than one sensor, we would follow the other color codes, which would be blue, and then white, and then green. So these 3 would be 3 outputs which happen to come from the accelerometer. Please note that all of the sensors require 5-volt power supply except the accelerometer. And in this case, what we would have to do is we would have to connect the red power connection of the accelerometer not to the red of the power supply pin, but to the orange, which is 3.3 volts. And again, the ground then would be connected, the ground of the sensor would be connected directly to the ground of the Y junction here. Consequently, what we would have then is we would have a connection which would exist between the accelerometer ground, the voltage meter ground, and the power supply ground. And in this case then, all we would have to do is, for the accelerometer, is we could monitor either 1, 2, or 3 outputs corresponding to the X, Y, and Z outputs. All of the other sensors basically are configured to have a black, red, and blue, since they're single sensor output, except once more for the 2 pressure transducers. And you can see here with the pressure transducers, we have the ground and power supply, but we have 2 outputs. A blue output for this transducer and a white output for that transducer. To complete the connection of a sensor to monitoring meter, like a voltmeter, what we would have to do is we'd have to pick, let's say, one of the outputs of the sensor, and we would connect it, let's say the blue output, and we would connect this then to the positive part of a voltmeter. The red one, a red banana, and the black banana would go to the ground part of the voltmeter.